Good morning, everybody. Last week I was incorrect. This is the last UFC event for 2025 and on ESPN. So after the first of the year, it's going to be on Paramount, and the first card's not until I believe the 24th. Um, but with this card here, this is a UFC Fight Night card. Royval versus Kape. A lot of wide odds. There's a few fights that have 50-50 odds, but a couple of the fights that I would lean the dog just because of the odds, and we will touch base on those and get to those. A lot of new fighters, or even fighters we haven't seen in a long time. So let's get right into this. And our first fight of the night is Bleda versus Horth, which a lot of people may not even know who Bleda is. She hasn't been in the UFC for a couple of years now, and there's been a lot of speculation on why. And the number one thing I can come up with is some health reasons. I believe she had some sort of infection, like a staph infection, in a couple different areas that they were having a hard time to get under control for some reason. I don't know how valid that is or anything like that. So there's a lot of people that are fading her that may not know that. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to go with her. I think she's fought the better competition overall. I think she's a better prospect. On the feet, Horth could be just as good, if not maybe a little bit better. But I think Bleda is going to be a little bit stronger, and she's going to bring the threat of wrestling. And I think she'd be better on the mat if it goes there. I'm not going to be putting anything on this fight. I don't even really want to do fight to go the distance just in case. Just because there's so many unknowns with a lot of these fights on this card, you're going to find out that I don't have a lot of wagers at all. So my lean is Bleda at the short number. I believe she's a minus 160 right now, but it's going to be a no bet for me. And then our second fight of the night is basically two newcomers, Fry versus Gellerme. Problem is, I only think one of them is UFC caliber, and it's not Fry. I think Gellerme should be better everywhere, and I'm looking for him to get a knockout. I originally wasn't going to use this because I don't like using, first fight on, first UFC fight as a piece or a parlay piece, but I decided to. I'm going to end up using fight to end by knockout as a parlay piece, and you'll see that at the end when I bring it up. But it's pretty much all I got on that one. Then our next fight is another females fight, Santos versus Croden. This is basically grappler versus striker here. Santos is going to need this fight to hit the mat in order to have a chance to win this fight. Croden will be way better on the feet, and I look for Croden to keep it standing more than not. I think she's going to have the bigger moments, and she's going to have the more memorable moments on the feet. And my lean is Croden as a slight underdog. I believe she's still around a plus 110 to a plus 120, and I kind of like it at that. But once again, it's just a lean for me. It's not a bet. This is one, though, that I would feel fairly confident to at least use over 1.5 rounds, or even fight to start the third round as a parlay piece if you'd like. And then our next fight is another heavyweight newcomers. Sharif, this is his second fight. He actually fought as a short-term replacement, like I don't know, a couple months ago. I don't remember exactly when it was, but he got beat. And then we got Steve Asplin, who's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. Got a really good story behind him. He used to weigh 520 pounds. He's now like 260 or whatever the limit is for, you know, heavyweight. So he's got a pretty good story behind him. He looked pretty good on Dana White Contender Series. He's going to be the better striker. Sharif's only pathway to victory would be to get a takedown and probably get a submission in the first round, because if he doesn't get a submission in the first round, he's probably just going to gas himself out anyways. So I look for Asplin to get a knockout. Even if he gets taken down, I like him to get back up, and then I could see a standing knockout, or something like that. So I am using Asplin as a parlay piece, but that's it. I do have Fight to End by KO as a parlay piece. I don't mind using Asplin to win by KO. That's a minus 110. So, that's not bad either. So, I mean, if you're looking for an extra single, that's one I would endorse. And then our next fight is Neil Magny versus Amosov. Magny's 40 years old now. There's a lot of people that are taking a flyer with him. I'm not, because a lot of people are basically banking on him getting a late finish or something like that. And I could see Amosov, tiring out a little bit. He's basically going to shoot for takedown after takedown. So if you don't think he's going to get like a submission in the first round, you could take his takedown prop. I haven't looked at it, what it is, but it's probably 2.5, something like that. But I think he's going to win 2 out of 3 rounds if he doesn't get a finish. I like him on the money line, except it's a minus 400. So I'm not going to be using him as a parlay piece either. I don't like it that much. This is his first UFC fight also. So, and there's a lot of people fading him just because he's coming over from the Bellator /PFL. But I would definitely be leaning that way. Then we got Brito versus Thompson. Thompson's a replacement fight, and this is going to be his UFC debut also. This fight is to stay away from me. From what I'm hearing, Thompson's a really good prospect though. So maybe if it was a normal camp, I'd take a shot with him. But being that it's short term, or short notice, I should say, I'm not willing to. I still lean Brito to get the win, but I would not be surprised at all from what I'm seeing and hearing if Thompson ends up being very competitive in this fight. This fight here is the one I got my first wager on. This is one of the ones where I think the line is absolutely incorrect. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand the love for Robertson over Lemos. Lemos beat Mackenzie Dern. And Robertson, at least in my opinion, is just a crappier version of Mackenzie Dern. Her striking's not very good. Her wrestling is not the greatest. Her takedowns are not the greatest. But she's got great jiu-jitsu. One of the best in the UFC. Probably the second best behind Mackenzie Dern. So if she gets it to the mat, yes, she's very liable for a finish. The question is she going to be able to get it there? I don't think so. Or if she does, it's going to be once, and then Lemos is actually pretty good off her back and pretty good at fighting off submissions. I mean, as long as she's not taken down in the first minute of a round, I think she's okay. And then Lemos is just so strong, and the way better striker. I mean, Lemos is actually live for a knockout. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to go all 3 rounds. As you can see, I do have singles on this fight. I've got the over 2.5 rounds at a minus 120. I actually placed a wager on fight to go the distance, plus 117. I believe that's a plus 110 now. Other ones that I have not done yet, but I'm probably going to, are all these plus 3.5s, plus 5.5s, and plus 7.5s at a minus 110, minus 125, and minus 145. Basically, if this fight goes the distance, you just need one of those 3 to come through. You just need, basically, for the plus 7.5 to come through, you just need Lemos to win 1 round on 1 judge's scorecard. That's it. 1 round on 1 judge's scorecard. So if she keeps this fight standing for 3.5 to 4 minutes of one of the rounds, the odds are she's going to win that round. So, I mean, that's basically what I'm banking on. And I really like those looks a lot. Next, we got Green versus Gibson, another new UFC fighter in Gibson. Gibson's making his debut. This fight should stay standing. Gibson will have the power advantage, but Green will have the volume advantage and just be the more active fighter that will be bringing the pressure and dictating where this fight goes. So saying that, I do like Green to get the win. I'm not very confident in it though. So I'm not a big fan of his anyways. So it's a stay away for me. But I do lean that way. And then now we get into some of the names that I probably can't pronounce at all. And I'm just trying to check something real quick while I do this, but they haven't added anything yet. Okay. We got the Chechiku. That wasn't too bad. Versus Buchecha. Another heavyweight fight. And this is striker versus grappler. If it stays standing, then it's Chechiku by KO. If it goes to the mat, then it's Buchecha by submission. Plain and simple. That's how this fight's going to go. I think for this fight to go the distance is like some crazy, I don't know about crazy odds, but not like very likely, it's not likely to go the distance, I should say. Here, let me check this real quick for you. Sorry. It's a plus 275 to go to distance. It's a minus 400 not to. So I use this as my last parlay piece on my one parlay, and you'll see that at the end. I do lean Buchecha to get the submission at, I don't know what the odds are, but I think it's like a plus 140 or something like that. Actually, it's a plus 200, not bad. But I'm not going to bet it. So anyways, on to our next fight. We got Charrier versus Costa. This fight here, Costa's going to be way faster on the feet. He's also going to have the grappling advantage. Charrier is a pretty nasty kickboxer, though. So he's going to have some pretty good leg kicks, some pretty nasty leg kicks. But I do like Costa to be the more well-rounded UFC fighter, MMA fighter here. He just has more pathways to victory, in my opinion. I think if it stays on the feet, too, he could very well just he could end up outstriking Charrier also. So I do lean Costa. I do like the over as a parlay piece. And I mean, Costa by decision, not a bad look. Or Costa over 1.5 rounds / decision is like a plus 110 on DraftKings also, if you want to go with that. I don't have any wagers on this particular fight, but those would be the ways that I would attack it if I was going to. Next, we got Almeida versus Elachechuk. This is the younger brother. This is Michael Elachechuk's younger brother. He was on the Dana White's Contender Series. He's probably one of the best-looking prospects to come off the Dana White Contender Series. He is with the Fighting Nerds, which I think that right there gets an added 20% boost right there, at least in my opinion. It's a very good team. They've done really good work, and they got a bunch of good fighters. He's a really good striker, really good boxer. But he could also grapple a little bit. So, I mean, I'm not concerned if this goes to the mat at all. And I like him everywhere in this fight. I think he probably gets the knockout. I did not use him for anything, but using him as a parlay piece, I don't mind that look at all. So I do like that. And then we got Chikadze versus Vallejos. Vallejos is another solid prospect that we got in the UFC. Another good striker. Chikadze is a really good kickboxer, though. And he needs this fight to take place at range so that he can dictate where it goes and have more leverage on his kicks and stuff like that. Vallejos is going to be a high pressure fighter with high volume, but I look at Vallejos' pressure to be way too much. He's going to be all over Chikadze. He's going to piece him up. He's going to outstrike him. If you want to look at Vallejos' most significant strikes, I like that a lot. I like Vallejos on the money line. Granted, it's a minus 300 now, but I did use a parlay of Asplund and Vallejos money line minus 110. And I'll pull that up at the end also. I don't have any singles on this one, but I do lean towards Vallejos' significant strikes also, if you want to take a look at those. I believe it's like 55.5 or 56.5 right now. And then our last fight of the night is Royval versus Kape. And I don't understand this line either. No way should Royval be a plus 230. I mean, his losses are to Taira and Joshua Van, who just got the belt because of the injury. I mean, and Taira is probably next in line. I mean, so we're going to put Royval at a plus 230 because he lost to the number 1 and number 2 contender. Nah, I don't buy that. I'm not buying that at all. I will say this, Kape is dangerous. He's a very dangerous striker. He's going to have way more power. But Royval has never been KO'd other than the one fight that he had where he got injured. But I don't count that. Royval is going to be high-paced. One of my favorite wagers of the night, which is totally gone now, was Royval most significant strikes plus 180. It's literally a minus 105 now. It's a plus 105 on one book. But, I mean, the value's gone on it. But this is what I've got for this fight. I've got Brandon Royval over 72.5 significant strikes, minus 115. And the over 3.5 at a minus 130. If this fight gets over 3.5 rounds, Brandon Royval is going to fly over that number. He's had 100 plus in his last, I think, 4 fights. Actually, both fighters are probably going to go over 100. if this fight goes all 5 rounds. Now, just remember, this is a 5-round fight. Even though it's not a championship fight, it's a main event fight on a fight night card. So therefore, it is 5 rounds. And then, like I said, I placed the most significant strike prop also, but I'm not putting that out because the number is totally gone. So, and I also like all the plus 5.5s, the plus 7 point, like you can get a plus 9.5 at a plus 105 for Royval. I mean, at that point, you might just be better off taking, the over 4.5 rounds. But I mean, if you want to go that route, like if you think Royval's got a chance to win this fight inside the distance, go that route, or just put a sprinkle on Royval money line. So that's what I got for UFC Fight Night. I'm now gonna pull up some of my plays. So here's 3 parlays. Sorry, I've got Croden versus Santos over 1.5 rounds. Lemos versus Robertson over 1.5 rounds. Royval versus Kape over 1.5 rounds. That's a plus 111. I like that parlay a lot. I think I've got 1.5 units on that. I actually might add more to it. Actually, I think I'm going to. Then on FanDuel, I've got Asplin money line and Vallejos decision/KO plus 100. If you want to just do Vallejos money line, it's like a minus 115. So there's not much difference. But the odds of him getting a submission are slim to none. And if you want to get greedy and add Alachechuk to this, I think he's a minus 200. It would probably make it a plus 175 parlay, plus 150 at least. That would be a good look too. And then my third and final parlay is the Asplin fight to end by KO, the Fry fight to end by KO, and then the Buchecha fight not to go the distance, plus 131. And basically what I'm going to do here is if it gets to the last fight, I'll end up hedging. I'll end up hedging it at a guaranteed profit. So that's what I'm going to do on those. You can do whatever you want, obviously, but and then for my singles, I don't have a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't come up with a lot that I was really, really confident in. I guess if I was to add one, probably I keep going back to Costa or Asplin by KO. So anyways, my singles are Lemos and Robertson over 2.5 rounds. I personally put a wager on fight to go the distance at a plus 117. I got it a couple days ago though. And then we've got the Lemos plus 3.5, plus 5.5, and plus 7.5, which I will be using one of those. I will more than likely use it in a parlay though, like maybe put something really safe with it to make it even money. And then we've got Brandon Royval, significant strikes over 72.5. And then I do have a little bit on most significant strikes at a plus 180, but that's totally gone now. So obviously I can't endorse that anymore. I just put it up there because I had played it. If you want to play the plus 106 on FanDuel, I don't hate it, but I don't know. It's probably better off not playing it at this point. And then the over 3.5 rounds, I like a lot at a minus 130. So I like all those. There. That's what I got for UFC Fight Night. If you have any questions or comments, please give me some feedback. Hit the like on your way out or way in. That's a little late for the way in, but and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for watching.